So I don't know about you, but for me, kissing makes everything better. Hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking about my all-time favorite romance tropes in books. Okay, so if you don't know what a trope is, it is basically a recurring theme or technique, or sometimes it's a rhetorical device that's used in a book. It may be something that if a reader picks up the book and sees, oh, this happens in this book, I like when this happens in books, they'll pick it up and read it. So that's a trope. So I'm going to talk about the romance tropes that I prefer. My first one is the marriage of convenience trope. This is like when they get married, the man and the woman, the hero and the heroine get married for a specific reason that has nothing to do with love. So it may be to get an inheritance, it may be to get parents off of their backs about relationships and their life and where their life is going, etc. And what tends to happen is that because they're faking being married, and they actually do get married on paper, most of them, they end up falling in love, and by the end of the book they're married for real. Similar to this trope is the fake relationship trope. So in this one, they don't usually get married. Sometimes they pretend that they're married, but they don't have any papers to show that they got married for real, or they're just pretending to be girlfriend, boyfriend, or they're pretending to be engaged. And sometimes this happens if they want a date to go to a family member's wedding, maybe their ex's wedding, and their ex is getting married to their sister. Drama. That's drama, but it happens, and sometimes it's done really well. That's similar to the marriage of convenience trope, but the only difference is that more often than not, they're not actually married. They didn't go through with the wedding per se. They're just pretending that they did. Number 3, so that was number 2. Number 3 is slow burn. I don't know if you consider slow burn a trope, but I do, and I love slow burn romances. Sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with it because I'm like, get to the good stuff. Get to the good stuff. I want to see the first kiss, and I want to see the first I want to read the first kiss and read the first declaration of love. But by the time I get there, I'm just like, okay, everything else was needed, because the tension that builds up in a slow burn romance, when you finally get to the romance part, like the kissing part, the intimate part, it is so satisfying. It is so worth it, and I'm here for it. Number 4 is the siblings best friend or best friend siblings trope. I'm lumping them together because to me the difference only occurs depending on the point of view of the character, the point of view that the writer is writing from. So if the writer is using the heroine's point of view and she's talking about her best friend's brother, then you would have a best friend sibling trope. But if it's the same book, same situation, and it's just the male's point of view, then it would be his sister's best friend. So that would be the sibling's best friend. But regardless of what it is, I like them both. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the slightly forbidden nature of it and the high stakes, because everybody always thinks that, oh my gosh, because it's my best friend's sister, if I mess with her and something goes wrong, my best friend is gonna hate me, or our friendship can't ever be the same again. I like it. I like it a lot. Number 5, it's the enemies to lovers trope. I know most of you probably love this trope. This is a really popular trope, and some writers go a little too far with this trope. If he did her bodily harm, or she did him bodily harm, they tried to kill each other. Maybe they killed somebody that's related to them, something stupid or crazy like that, and now all of a sudden they're in love. I I don't get that. That don't make any sense to me. But I can understand the workplace tension, the little rivalry. Maybe they just don't get along and now they're stuck in a situation where they have to work together, and that tension, that bantering turns into flirting and turns into understanding, and they realize that this person has some qualities that they really do love. I love it a lot. Okay, number 6 is the second chance romance. Now I have this in 2 parts. Second chance in terms of maybe they were in a relationship before when they were younger, they were in high school, they were in college, things didn't work out and they broke up, and now years later they're adults and they meet again after a long time. Sparks fly, they try it again, and it's perf. The only time I am not a fan of this trope is when the reason that they broke up in the first place was because of abuse or cheating. There are no second chances after those things. So if that's the reason, I won't be reading any books like that. But differently, all the other kind of second chance romances, I love those. And on the flip side is the second chance at love romance, where one is a widow or widower. Maybe they lost the person that they thought would have been, well, not would have been, but was the love of their life, and they never thought that they could find love again. And then here, this person comes along and they have love again. Something that I don't like about this romance trope though is that sometimes the author can make it seem like the love that they thought they had before is nowhere near as good as this new love, when I don't think, I have mixed feelings about that, because I think that they could have been deeply, passionately, 100% in love with this person. The person passed away and now they're moving forward with their life and they meet someone new that fulfills them, maybe in a different way but in no less of a way. I love it. I really like that trope. I love reading it, no matter which one it is, if it's the widow or the widower. I love it even more when it's coupled with this trope, which is another one of my favorites, which is the single parent trope. Something about knowing that one of these characters has a baby or two at home, watching or reading the love interest's relationship with the child, it just melts my heart, and I just love it. I really love it. It makes my enjoyment of the story go up a couple notches when I find out, okay, this love interest is a single parent. Single mom, single dad, either way, I'm here for it. I think we're at 7 now. The sports trope, the sports romance, you know, the athletes. This one can get a bad rap because sometimes the athletes are real douchey and arrogant and cocky, and they're not likable. But there are times when they're really likable. I think Mariana Zapata does this sports trope really well, including Slow Burn, and I enjoy it 100%. I enjoy when, even if in the beginning the athlete, whether male or female, is a little full of themselves, a little arrogant or cocky, or their mind is so set on the sport that they can't see anything else. Even if that happens in the beginning, the transition of that person, the growth during the story, if it's positive growth, well, growth is always positive, but if it's a positive transition, then I really always enjoy stories like this. Number 8 is the unrequited love. Is it 8 or is it 9? It's one of them. The unrequited love. They fell in love with the boy or the girl in high school, but they never had the courage to talk about it, or maybe they thought that if they thought about it, it would ruin a friendship that they might have had, or it would ruin the situation surrounding however they knew each other. But then years pass and their feelings never change. They may have had other relationships, but they still have that kindle in their heart for this one specific person, and something happens one day and that person starts to see them in the same light that they've been seeing them in all this time. This is one of the sweetest romance tropes. My heart always goes out for the main character who is longing for love with this specific person, and when they finally return their feelings, I've cried a time or two. I won't lie, I've cried a time or two. I really do enjoy that trope, coupled especially with the best friends to lovers trope. The best part about that trope is that more often than not, we as the readers and the supporting characters in the book can see that these two people are meant to be together. The sparks that they're giving off, the chemistry, everything, the friendship is just so perfect. And the only person that can't see it, except for when it's in the unrequited love trope, is the two characters, the two main characters. They just can't see it, and then one day the light hits one of them right and it's on. I don't think I've ever read a Friends to Lovers book that I did not enjoy. I can't remember one. So usually if I read the blurb and it's Friends to Lovers, I'm all about it. All about it. And the last one, like the sports trope, the athlete trope, sometimes the billionaire trope can be a little iffy if the billionaire is really mean and sees the love interest as beneath them, or this is male or female. But when they're not arrogant and douchey and just complete waste of space, I really love the trope. Certain authors do it really well. J.S. Scott is one of them. She does a lot of billionaire romances and I love a lot of her series. I love the billionaire trope, especially if the billionaire trope is coupled with this next trope, which is the boss employee trope. The billionaire CEO and his executive assistant. That tension in the workplace, the knowledge that, okay, maybe this is not the right thing to do because it's mixing business and pleasure, the awkwardness that could come about it if it doesn't work out, the slight forbidden connotations around that whole romance with the CEO and his employee. I really love that trope. Whitney G does that trope really well, especially in her, I think it's the Coffee Read series, which is her novellas. She does it really well. I love it. I love that trope. And similarly to the boss employee trope is the nanny trope, which also ties back into the single parent trope sometimes, but the nanny and I guess the person she's nannying for, which is her boss. I like that one sometimes. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it's really corny and it can seem like the person is taking advantage, but other times it works out really well. And I think the last trope we have on the list is secret baby trope. I also have a love-hate relationship with this secret baby trope because sometimes it's done really poorly. Sometimes it's just, I don't like it when the heroine is keeping the baby a secret because she's trying to be spiteful or anything like that. I don't like those kinds of situations. But sometimes it's the one night stand, never gonna see you again, 2 weeks later find out I'm pregnant, don't know your name, don't know where you're from. Maybe sometimes it's a billionaire and she got a fake name, or she gave a fake name or something, but then it works out in the end when they finally meet again, when the child is like 5 years old and she's like, I have something to tell you, I had your baby. And it works out. I don't know, I really like it. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and I know that, but when it's done well, it's done really well. I think those are all of my favorite tropes, romance tropes. There's always an exception to the rule. If any one of these tropes are paired with a trope that I really dislike, I may have to weigh them against each other and see if I like this more than I hate this, or if I hate this more than I like this, and then I'll make the determination on whether or not to read the book. But I'm gonna do a video on that. I'm gonna do a video, so stay tuned for my top 10 least favorite romance tropes. I think I have more than 10, but I'll just do 10. My top 10 least favorite romance tropes. So leave me a comment down below and tell me what your favorite romance trope is. I'm interested in seeing if any one of the tropes that you say are your favorite will end up in my least favorite list. That would be very interesting to see your responses based on what I say are my least favorite posts. This has been my video, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. Let me know if you love any of the tropes that I'm just obsessed with. Give me some suggestions in the comments of any books that you know that fall within any one of these tropes that I talked about. I hope you guys had fun watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!